Austin.
Time is flying by. We now move on to our closing statements from each candidate this afternoon. Each person will have 2 minutes, and we begin with Mayor Lee Leffingwell.
Well, first of all, I think it's indisputable that Austin, over the last few years, has been a very well-run city. The record speaks for itself. Over the last few years, we've balanced our budget every single year. We have not laid off a single employee, and we've maintained our AAA bond rating, and that kind of speaks to, do we have too much debt? Obviously, the bond rating agencies don't think we do. I think that's very important. And all the while, we've maintained basic city services. As a matter of fact, just a couple of months ago, the ETC Institute, which is an organization, I can't tell you what that stands for, but they rate cities, large cities across the country on their services. They rated Austin, Texas, #1 for resident satisfaction among all the top 50 cities in population, and we're very proud of that too. We're going to continue to find ways to accommodate the growth in our city, which will come no matter what we do, by maintaining our quality of life in a number of ways. I think that's very important. We need to maintain the character of Austin, maintain our creative sector, which is really the heart and soul of Austin. We'll continue to do that. I'm very proud in this race to be endorsed by almost 1,000 people, including every former mayor for the city of Austin except one. I've been endorsed by Will Wynn, by Gus Garcia, by Kirk Watson, by Bruce Todd, by Lee Cook, by Frank Cooksey, and by Ron Mullen. I've also been endorsed by Representatives Donna Dukes and Eddie Rodriguez, and Donna Howard and Mark Strama. As organizations, I've been endorsed across the board by the Central Labor Council, by the Network of Asian American Organizations, by the Travis County Law Enforcement Association, and by our police, fire, and EMS associations. In addition to that, I've been endorsed by all but one Democratic club. I've been endorsed by 10 different Democratic clubs across the city of Austin. Leffingwellformayor.com, you can find a complete list.
Bridget Shay.
Thank you, Robert. I'm a small businesswoman and a former member of the Austin City Council. I'm also a wife and a PTA mom with 2 teenagers. I'm a proven leader with a record of getting things done. In my previous term on council, I championed consumer, electoral, and environmental initiatives, and I am proud that I helped lead the consensus, the effort to produce a new political consensus that protecting our environment is great for our economy. Lee says everything's great and getting better, but Austin's unique character and quality of life are threatened, and the city is getting less affordable for the people who live here. Lee's policies are making it worse, not better, and that's why I'm running for mayor. Under Lee Leffingwell, the Austin City Council has been more concerned with making big development deals than with maintaining the quality of life and affordability of the city for those who live here. Like Lee's push for a deal that provided $250 million in state subsidies for a Formula One racetrack at a time when we were cutting school budgets. Even Senator Kirk Watson voted against the $250 million state subsidy. And Lee was willing to give $40 million in city subsidies until massive public opposition forced him to drop it. But the city is still paying $13 million to extend big water and sewer lines to serve the track, at no cost to the developer. This is the wrong priority for scarce public resources. And then we find out that New Jersey negotiated a Formula One race without any public subsidies. It's a sad day in Austin when we have to say, why can't we be more like New Jersey? If some folks want to build a racetrack, that's fine, but don't make us taxpayers pay for it. Or a $4.3 million fee waiver for a luxury Marriott hotel downtown that was going to build anyway. The same year, the city announced that we didn't have enough money to keep our community pools open, and we had to cancel the Trail of Lights because we didn't have enough funds. These are the wrong priorities at City Hall, and that's why I'm running. I've been endorsed by the major civic organizations, including the Austin Neighborhoods Council, the Sierra Club, Clean Water Action, the Better Austin Today PAC, the BAT PAC, the Black Austin Democrats, and co-endorsed by the League of Bicycling Voters, and I ask for your support. Thank you.
And now, the final word from Clay Defoe.
This is possibly one of the most important elections in Austin's history. We're at a crossroads in choosing what kind of government we want to have. One that exclusively serves the special interests, or one that inclusively centers around the needs of all of the citizens in our community. We must keep Austin affordable by eliminating the granting of corporate incentive packages that do nothing to improve our quality of life. I will work to end corporate welfare at City Hall and provide the basic needs and infrastructure that our citizens are longing for. In addition, we must provide greater fiscal oversight of our public utilities. This year alone, Austin Energy is siphoning off 9.1% of our public utilities revenue and using it for items in the city's general fund that are entirely not related to energy production and are entirely not essential to our needs here in Austin. We can provide that fiscal oversight that Austinites need and require if we just do the due diligence to make sure that we're spending our city's money effectively. In addition, I want to facilitate greater citizen involvement in council meetings. We can make our city government more accessible by simply moving some meetings to Saturdays so more citizens can show up and get involved, give input on what matters to them. In addition, I'm a proponent of establishing a monthly Citizens Communications Day, which will allow for greater insight where council members can absorb what our community is saying. Perhaps most importantly, I'm a supporter of the 10-1 single-member district plan with an independent Citizens Redistricting Commission, which will provide more effective and responsive council representation. I may not have years of experience in office like my opponents, but I do have the common sense knowledge that certain city policies are a detriment to efficiency in our government and to providing an affordable Austin for us all. If you want real change this year at City Council and not a benign facelift in leadership, vote Clay Defoe for mayor. Thank you.
That is all of our time this afternoon. We want to thank each and every one of you candidates for being here this afternoon, as well as our panelists and you in our live audience, and especially you watching at home. Remember, tomorrow is the last day to register to vote in the city election. The early voting begins on April 30th and ends on May the 8th. Election day is on May the 12th. A reminder, you can watch this debate again. We posted it at our website, KXAN.com. You can watch it in its entirety. Thank you all for joining us for the KXAN On Politics Austin mayoral debate. Thanks for joining us. Have a great afternoon.